You're listening to the Trade Show Insights Podcast, Season 14, Episode 14. I'm your host and exhibit marketing strategist, Marlis Arnold, bringing you tools to improve your exhibit results. On today's episode, brought to you by the Exhibit Marketers Cafe, we've got something a little different because you just never know who might show up at your next trade show. Twas the night before the trade show when all through the hall, not an exhibitor was sleeping. Nope, not one at all. The giveaways were all stashed away with great care in hopes of tomorrow's attendees who'd be there. The exhibitors were pacing with fear and with dread as visions of overtime danced in their head. I sat in my booth with my crates and flashlight, having just settled in for a long, weary night. When across the show floor there arose such a clatter, I spun around in my booth to see what was the matter. Away to the scene flew the floor manager in a flash, so I peeked through the drape and over the trash. The convention center lights went to half power, and then a forklift started beeping like the chimes of Big Ben. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a little red forklift and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than Black Friday shoppers on a spree, he whistled and shouted and called out to me. "We've got electrical and carpet, rigging and AV, still waiting on furniture and I&D. To the back of the dock, to the front of the hall, now dash away, dash away, dash away all." Like bees in the sky before a big storm, when they meet with an obstacle, gather and swarm. So up to the service desk they all flew, with a cart full of laborers, and St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkling I heard through the hall the banging and clanging of each booth and stall. As I stepped back in my booth and was turning around, down the aisle he came with a bound. He was dressed all in red from his head to his feet, and his clothes were disheveled and somewhat offbeat. A massive tool belt he had round his waist, and he looked like his mission was to solve things post-haste. His eyes, how they twinkled, his laughter, how merry, his whistling resembled that of a canary. His good-humored round face was all aglow, and his well-trimmed goatee was as white as the snow. The stump of a pencil he held in his teeth, and a clipboard hung round his neck like a wreath. He had broad shoulders and a little pot belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was lively and quick, a right jolly old fellow, and I laughed as I suddenly felt quite mellow. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his deed, and soon all the booths were completed with speed. With a swipe of his phone, he turned toward the aisle and gave me a nod. I couldn't help but to smile. He sprang to his forklift, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like the launch of a missile. But I heard him exclaim, as he drove out of sight, "Happy exhibiting to all, and to all a good night!" If you enjoyed today's episode and would like to hear more, subscribe to the Trade Show Insights podcast and automatically receive future episodes on your chosen device. Simply click on Podcast in the top menu at tradeshowinsights.com, then scroll down to Subscribe, and you'll find instructions for Apple, Android, and more. Trade Show Insights is protected by the Creative Commons copyright license. You may feel free to share this recording with colleagues or embed it on your own blog as long as it is shared in its entirety and is not used for commercial purposes. To learn more, please see the link in the sidebar of the show notes at tradeshowinsights.com. Well, that's it for this episode of Trade Show Insights. Be sure to check out our show notes and archives at tradeshowinsights.com. You can also connect with me using the social media links or contact page on the site. I'm Marlis Arnold. Thanks for listening, and be sure to join us next time for more tools to improve your exhibit results.